G inverse, I guess.
And then parentheses, F, parentheses, 7 pi over 4, parentheses.
Parentheses what?
And
Oh, N. What's F and G? Does it tell you anything about F and G? Or?
It says that G of X equals cosine X. And then it says the range of that is 0 and then not less than or equal to X less than or equal to pi.
Understood?
And then F of X equals sine of X. And then the range is with the range of sine of X.
Okay, so the problem, it gives you two functions, G and F, and then it wants you to figure out what this composition equals. Okay. The first thing, you kind of got to tear apart what they're even getting you to do here, right? So, firstly, what I would notice is that F is equal to sine, right? So inside the parentheses here, you really have sine of 7 pi over 4. So I just replace this F with sine. And then after that, I need to replace the G inverse with G inverse. So since G is cos X, G inverse is just going to be cos inverse. G itself was cosine, so cos inverse will be G inverse.
Oh.
And now we phrased it into something we're used to seeing. There's a couple ways to do this. Well, the easiest way to do this would just be to evaluate straight up. You know what sine of 7 pi over 4 is, and then once you have that, you can calculate cos inverse. So what's sine of 7 pi over 4? Maybe I spoke too soon. Maybe you don't know what sine of 7 pi over 4 is. It's some kind of root 2 over 2. Since it's in the fourth quadrant, it's going to be negative on the y value. Right, so this inside portion, sine of 7 pi over 4, is negative root 2 over 2. But we haven't done the cos inverse yet. Now the question just becomes, how do I find cos inverse of negative root 2 over 2? Well, then you have to think on my unit circle, since I'm dealing with cosine, where is my x value? Negative root 2 over 2. So it's either going to be in the second or third quadrant, because cosine is negative in those two quadrants. Yeah, and then you have to consider the range of cos inverse to pick the correct angle. Cos inverse, I mean, it even writes it right here for you, but cos inverse always gives you angles between 0 and pi. Okay? So you know your cos inverse answer has to end up here. So what's my final answer to this problem? Ooh, I'm glad I saw my Yeah, so this, I need to find cos inverse of negative root 2 over 2. So I focus on this negative root 2 over 2, and then I focus on this angle here, which is equal to 3 pi over 4. This guy here. I've scribbled enough on this chart so that it now means nothing to you. That's called the art of teaching. I had to work on that for years.